Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Welcome back to another week of artisanal Bible study. This is your home for organic Bible study, Daily Dose Radio. And we've started last week looking at Psalm 89, and this week we're going to finish the psalm. We'll be studying this week verses 27 through 52. So the second half of the psalm, we started last week with verses 1 through 26. The Lord's voice began for us last time in, I think it was verse 18, the second half of verse 18, and ended the first half of the psalm for us. Now we pick up in the second half of the psalm, and the Lord's voice again predominates this part of the psalm. Verses 27 through 37 ends with a Selah there at the end of 37, and this is all the Lord's voice. He's speaking to us about his Messiah, and it becomes very obvious and apparent that this is Messiah whom he's speaking of. So today I'm going to look at verses 27 through 32, kind of a big bite, 6 verses, and we're going to look at the words, the language that he uses here when he's talking about Messiah. So let me begin reading verse 27. Also I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven. If his children forsake my law and walk not in my judgments, if they break my statutes and keep not my commandments, then I will visit their transgression with the rod and their iniquity with stripes. That ends the reading here of the first 6 verses. Notice he said last time that he would call me Father. I think it was in verse 26. Now we come here to 27. Also I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. So remember now, Messiah is God's only son. So the firstborn here is very important messianic language. Higher than the kings of the earth. And we know that he is King of kings and Lord of lords. He's been declared that, Old Testament and New. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne is the days of heaven. So here's the eternal nature. We have forever in verse 28. We have forever here also in verse 29. So this eternality of the Messiah and his seed, in verse 30 calls them his children. So we have the poetic balance or parallel here. His seed I will make to endure forever. Verse 30, if his children forsake my law and not walk in my judgments. So we have the seed or the children of Messiah. Who is that? Well, that's the church. Those that have believed on him, have received life from him. And again, notice the eternal nature of that group. If they break my statutes and keep not my commandments. The word break there, that's really sort of a very vanilla translation of that Hebrew word. It really means to pollute or to defile. So the idea of breaking is not quite what's being said here. The commandments, the statutes have been defiled. They have been ruined and no longer are holy because of the way they've been treated or handled by these folks. If they break my statutes, that is, pollute, or keep not my commandments, then I will visit their transgressions with the rod and their iniquity with stripes, which we know the Lord does chasten those who are his sons. So this is perfectly wonderful language about Messiah and the church. So when the church breaks covenant, what happens? The chastening hand of God comes. When Israel breaks covenant, what happens? The chastening hand of God comes. So this promise is certain and still reflects today's reality for both Israel and the church. Okay, I hope you'll join me tomorrow as we take up verses 33 through 37 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.